What is up guys, welcome back. Thanks for joining me today. I'm going to be doing a Cyber Angel deck profile, so I hope you guys enjoyed this. This was a deck that's really underrated in the anime. I think it was played in GX, so it had that popularity. It didn't get its time to come out, and then all of a sudden it got released again as a reboot kind of in the Arc 5 series, so everyone was kind of getting all excited about it, but unfortunately it just never lived up to that hype that it was getting. And even after the support from Sisters of the Rose, there was no mention of this deck whatsoever, which kind of saddens me because this is a deck that I find to be quite fun and no one actually profiles it. I tried to look for other deck profiles, and the most recent ones that are actually worth watching are about a year ago. You might see one or two deck profiles a few months ago, but even then that's still a really small find, and I thought it was appropriate for me to actually make a deck profile for it right now for the start of 2021, where we could actually bring the attention or a bit of a spotlight to Cyber Angels once more. Now the fun thing about this particular deck is that there are actually many variants you could play of it. I believe this is the case for all ritual decks, as I'm starting to find out. For Shinobirds, for Relinquished, we could actually just build so many different variants, and the same thing can easily apply for Cyber Angels, one of the most flexible ritual decks that you could actually just play around with. And there are so many variants, so if I'm not playing the variant that you actually want, then just stay tuned because I might be doing them for future deck profiles as well. For example, this particular deck right here in front of you does not actually feature any of the incantations. It's a pure Cyber Angel deck, and that's the way I intended it to be. However, in the future I will be doing other variants where I will be including the incantations. I'll also do other variants where I also include the Herald of Perfection as well, so stay tuned for that. But for now, I really just wanted to push out the more pure variant of it. That way more people would actually be able to acknowledge the Cyber Angels as a whole, at least every Cyber Angel in the deck itself. But that's pretty much enough of me rambling on, so without further ado, let's get started. To begin with monsters, we're easily playing over here 3 copies of Cyber Angel Ben 10. Ben 10 is a really amazing card. Now the way that Cyber Angels work is that when they are actually tributed, they will pretty much have their effects going off here. Now they have 2 particular effects. The first is their main monster effect when they're on the field, so if it actually destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you could actually inflict the damage to your opponent equal to the opponent's original defense in the graveyard, which is okay, but it's mainly the tribute effect, where if this card's actually tributed, whether it's for a tribute summon or a tribute effect or even a ritual summon, then it gets a secondary effect, which is you can add a light fairy type monster from your deck to your hand, and that actually applies to any kind of light fairy type monster, so that is definitely really amazing, making her a key component in the deck. Next, I'm playing 2 copies here of Cyber Angel Ida-ten. Ida-ten again is also another card that actually has 2 different effects. If this card is actual ritual summon, you could actually just add a ritual spell from your deck or graveyard to your hand. So definitely a great way to recycle the cards you have, but also search as well. However, its second effect when tributed actually just gives all your ritual monsters you control 1000 attack and defense. And keep in mind that's also permanent as well. It's not until the end of the turn, so it's definitely really great if you could trigger this off during the battle phase, anytime as a surprise on your opponent, and believe me, this deck can actually do that. Without a doubt, we're playing here a Cyber Angel Dakini. However, I'm only playing 1 copy of it. That's all you really need because of the fact that this is a much higher level, so it's going to be much harder to actually bring out. However, if this card is actually ritual summon, then you could actually make your opponent send 1 monster they control to the graveyard, and it is their choice, but they do have to send one of their monsters to the graveyard. However, if a ritual monster you control attacks a defense position monster, not only Dakini but any of your other rituals on the field as well, you could just do piercing damage onto your opponent, which is absolutely fantastic. That means flip decks won't actually work on this particular deck, or rather it would be easy to take on flip decks. And of course, during the end phase, just a once per turn effect, you can target one of your ritual monsters or 1 Machine Angel ritual in your graveyard and then just add it to your hand. that being on top of him being a 2700 attack beatstick is definitely quite fantastic. Moving on, I'm playing 2 copies here of Cyber Angel Natasha. Natasha is a very interesting card because I do see a lot of deck profiles not including this, and I just don't get it. I mean, it's a really good card. Of course, you can't really play one of them. It's best to play 2 of them because you could essentially establish a lockdown on your opponent. So again, once per turn, you could actually target 1 face-up monster you control and gain life points equal to half its attack, which is very nice because if you actually have a full buffed up monster, then you can recover a lot of your life points again, which is absolutely fantastic. However, when a ritual monster you control is targeted for an attack, you can negate the attack, which is really great. And so if you have both of them out on the field, then you basically get to protect each other, which is absolutely amazing. Now, if this card's actually in the graveyard, you can banish 1 other Cyber Angel monster from the graveyard and then target one of your opponent's monsters that they control and special summon this card. And if you do, you could take control of that monster. So this is a really nice effect from the graveyard, and just having 2 of them as level 5s kind of allow them to also tribute themselves as well as an option. But there is another particular tribute fodder that we could actually tribute off to summon her as well with ease, but we'll just get to them later on. Moving on, we have 2 copies here of Cyber Angel Izana. This card is the new card that came out in Sisters of the Rose, but because I'm debuting this deck for the first time, I figure I might as well just tell you guys the effects. So basically, if this card is ritual summoned, you can make your opponent send 1 spell or trap they control to the graveyard, and that's a forced effect. Yeah, they just have to do it. Of course, it doesn't really matter if they have nothing out, but it's not something that you should forget about. In addition to that, when this attacking card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can activate this following effect. This card can make a second attack on an opponent's monster in a row. So definitely really awesome, of course, and being a 2500 beat stick is nice because after you have the boost from Edaton's effect, it would boost it up to 3500, meaning you'd pretty much be able to get over almost anything. And once per turn, when your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a Cyber Angel ritual monster that you control as a quick effect, you can shuffle 1 ritual monster from your graveyard to your deck, and if you do, destroy 1 card your opponent controls. I really wish that particular effect was actually a negation, but that's okay. It's still a great way to disrupt your opponents as well and make your opponents kind of weary about your particular card. And last of the ritual monsters, we're playing 1 copy here of Cyber Angel Rash. Rash is one of the more older cards. However, if this card is ritual summoned, you can destroy as many face-up monsters your opponent controls as possible that was actually summoned from the extra deck. And if you do, you inflict 1000 damage to your opponent for each one. If you do that, this card can make a second attack during each battle phase this turn. And once per turn during either player's turn, when a card or effect is activated that will destroy a card on the field, you can shuffle 1 ritual monster from your graveyard to your deck, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. So this one protects from effect via the negation and destruction as well. Absolutely amazing, gets a second attack, and in addition to that, you could also just blow up everything the minute you summon it out. If anything, it makes it weird that Izana actually came after Rash, because of the fact that Rash is so much better than Izana in terms of the effect. However, there is one particular downside, and that is Rash has an incredibly high level, making it very difficult to actually accomplish, whereas Izana kind of has a little bit more ease, considering the cards we'll get to later. But we could actually tribute off Izana herself. We could also tribute off the Darkini, but later on we'll get to a particular card. As for Rash, it does make it more difficult. As for the regular monsters, we're just playing 2 copies here of Cyber Petite Angel, allowing us to add either a Cyber Angel or Machine Angel Ritual from your deck to your hand when it's summoned. And same thing kind of applies for Cyber Egg Angel, the same effect. If summoned, you could either add a Machine Angel spell or a Ritual Sanctuary from your deck to your hand, which we'll get to those cards later on, but that's all their function really is, aside from them also being level 2 to act as a bit of a tribute fodder. With that being said, when we talked about Cyber Angel Natasha, I wanted to actually mention a good fodder, and that would be Cyber Tutu bond. Also a level 5, great to actually tribute off to summon out your Natasha. So you could special summon this card by tributing one warrior or fairy type monster from your hand or field, and if this card is tributed for ritual summon, you could target a ritual spell in your graveyard and add it to your hand. So great recycler. However, you also have to keep in mind her first effect to summon her out requires you to tribute one of your monsters, meaning you could actually just trigger off your Ben 10's effect or your Editon's effect as well, which is really amazing, of course, to kind of cycle through or speed up the deck. As for the summon of Izana, to make it easier for her to summon, we also have a level 8 Archlord Christia. Really great, works in a fairy deck. You only really need one because he could actually just recycle himself back to the top of the deck anyway, but it's a great lockdown on your opponents, and I just really love this card in the deck at 1 copy. Here's an interesting card. We're playing 1 copy here of Fafa. This was actually played in my deck for a very long time. This is my own personal tech that I believe no one else has actually attempted, and you could look for any deck profiles on YouTube. I'm pretty sure you won't find anyone who's actually playing Fafa in the deck. However, I can't really explain his purpose right now. You guys know what he does. If he's sent to the graveyard, he banishes a monster. And finally, to end things off, we're playing 3 copies here of Manju. Manju's just going to add you what you actually need. On with the spells, we're playing here 3 copies of our Machine Angel Ritual. It's basically our ritual spell card that allows us to ritual summon any of our Cyber Angel monsters. Now, because it's a generic effect, pre-preparation of rites won't actually work in this particular deck. Instead, you're going to have to play preparation of rites instead. Next, we're also playing here Machine Angel Absolute Ritual, a bit more generic when it comes to, or when it's compared to the Machine Angel Ritual. However, it's still an additional option to go for your ritual summons as well, and having 5 total available to you is definitely going to maximize the consistency of the deck itself. Now, to further maximize that particular consistency of searching out your ritual spells for your ritual summons, we're also going to be playing here 3 copies of Ritual Sanctuary. I'm not playing Terraforming, there's no need since you're already playing 3 copies of the Ritual Sanctuary itself. So basically what you could do is you could discard a spell card, any spell card, and add a light ritual monster or a ritual spell from your deck to your hand, which is how you get your Machine Angel rituals. Now, you could also shuffle any number of spell cards from your graveyard to your deck and then target a light fairy monster from your graveyard whose level equals that number of cards you shuffled back, and then special summon it. So remember how I talked about Cyber Angel, Cyber Petite Angel, and Cyber Egg Angel? Well, in those cases, they're both level 2s, so with this particular effect, all you need to do is shuffle back 2 spells and you get back a free summon on those, which means they trigger off, allowing you to add more cards from your deck to your hand. We're also going to be playing over here some new support from the Sisters of the Rose pack as well. So we have over here Merciful Machine Angel. It's not a great card. If you think about it, it's technically a +0 because you could tribute 1 Cyber Angel Ritual monster from your hand or field, draw 2 cards. However, you have to place 1 card from your hand on the bottom of your deck, and for the rest of the turn after this card resolves, you also are restricted to only the special summon of a ritual monster. So quite restricting, and it's also a +0, so for me, I felt that 1 copy was all I really needed. However, what I will say is that the artwork is really amazing. Love the artwork of Izana right there. We're also playing 2 copies here of the Magnificent Machine Angel as well. This is a quick play spell. I believe a lot of people are not playing this card in their decks, but you could tribute a Cyber Angel monster from your hand or field, a ritual monster that is, and then target a light fairy monster you control, and it gains attack and defense equal to the level of the monster that was tributed times 200 until the end of this turn, of course. However, this turn, if it battles an opponent's monster that was special summoned from the extra deck, and believe me, there is a lot of monsters that are summoned from the extra deck acting as a boss these days. Essentially, that opponent's monster's effects are negated during the entire battle phase only, which is a really nice effect because not only can you actually use this defensively as well, since it's a quick play spell during your opponent's turn, you could use it during your turn as a quick effect during your battle phase as well, which is really great for either OTK or either just negating your opponent's monsters. We are also going to be playing here 2 copies of Incarnated Machine Angel. It's a continuous spell, very nice versatility and variety here. Your Cyber Angel ritual monsters cannot be destroyed by battle. That's one of the main effects that really is just helpful for the deck, and yeah, quite amazing. However, when you take battle damage in any kind of way, or even your opponent's card effect, you could also just tribute 1 Cyber Angel ritual monster from your hand or field, and then special summon a Cyber Angel ritual monster from your hand. And this is considered a ritual summon as well. Now, the benefit of that particular effect is to gain the effects of your tributing of some of your Cyber Angel monsters, so that's obviously really amazing. And this also kind of explains why I'm not playing Honest in the deck as well, because if you play Honest, then you're pretty much just using it for the sake of OTKing your opponent, or just being the one with the high attack. So if your opponent still attacks you to deal damage onto you, then this card will kind of put itself in an active state. However, I will say this card is not amazing. I'm only playing these because it's a pure variant of the deck. If this was a different variant of the deck, I probably wouldn't even play it at all. Then of course we're playing 1 copy here of Instant Fusion. Yes, I realize now the ban list hit it to 1, so unfortunately this is all we can work with. We're also playing over here 1 copy of Chord by the Grave. I really wish it was actually at 3, because this deck does have its vulnerabilities to a lot of hand traps. We're also going to be playing here 1 copy of Mind Control. Do you guys actually see the irony of this particular card? I mean, it's funny, right? You can't actually tribute the monster that you steal, but the main purpose of Mind Control is just to steal your opponent's monsters so that you could use it for a link summon. And finally, to end things off, we're playing 3 copies here of Preparation of Rites, basically just to add your level 7 or lower ritual monsters from the deck to your hand. And in addition, you could also just add your ritual spells from your graveyard to your hand as well, so a great recycler. Okay, so moving on to the extra deck, we're playing here 1 copy of Avramax, 1 copy of Borrowload, 1 copy of Triple Burst, 1 copy of Decode Talker Extended. These cards are just additional boss monsters where if you're able to go into them, then feel free to do so, but I just put them there as my own options. If you guys have Appaloosa, if you have Borrow Sword, play it instead. Play what you guys actually want. These are just the options I have available, and I want to have a good variety of them. For Link 2s, I'm again playing more variety here, a bit of a toolbox Akashic, Underclock Taker to reduce the damage, Cerberus and Phoenix, but you guys already know what they do. And finally, for the links, we're going to be playing 1 copy of Relinquished Anima. If you guys already guessed, then yeah, that's pretty much what I'm doing. The whole purpose why I'm playing Instant Fusion is to actually just bring out the 1000 Eyes Restrict, steal one of my opponent's monsters, then link this away to go for a Relinquished Anima, and then steal another one of your opponent's monsters as well. So it's just a nice engine that you could actually just incorporate in almost any deck that has the space in the extra deck itself, so it's actually quite amazing. I love the engine. As for XCs, we're playing a good variety of rank 6s. We're playing the Sheridan, if you guys already remember from the Vampire deck. We're also playing a number 24 Dragulus the Vampiric Dragon. We're also playing here number 39 Utopic Beyond, a Gauntlet Launcher, and we're also playing here a Beatrice Lady of Eternal as well. That's one of the reasons why I was actually playing Farfa in the deck, because if you go into Beatrice, you could detach a material and actually just send one of your BAs to the graveyard, triggering off Farfa's effect, which is absolutely amazing. And let me just also mention, that's a quick effect as well, so it's quite powerful indeed. Which brings me to my last card, and that is Dante. The reason why I'm playing this is that as soon as Beatrice leaves the field, I get to special summon any BA extra deck monster I want from my extra deck. So as soon as Beatrice goes, Dante comes out on the field, and he's a 2800 beat stick, so that's pretty much all I need to say about that. You guys can figure it out. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this particular deck profile. Keep in mind, this was a more pure variant, so if you enjoyed it, definitely drop a thumbs up and also share this video as well. It really helps. Comment down your thoughts down below. And of course, don't forget to subscribe for more videos just like this. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me in any platform, whether it's in the comment section or whether it's on Facebook or Twitter as well. Links are down in the description box below. I hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you next time.